What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mediocre Disc Golf Podcast, an average podcast for the average disc golfer. We are mixing it up this week. Evan's away on a work trip, so I will be your Evan today to cover the lovely color commentator role is none other than Mr. Professor Disc Golf himself and my husband, Josh Hatcher. We are happy you could join us. Josh, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. I went to league today. Had a good day at work.
League where?
I do league in South Daytona. So I like hanging out with, they call themselves the old school bag tag league. And they're a really beginner friendly league. It's at an easier course. So I don't have to like go out there and grind really hard. I just get to go out there and play with some really cool guys and have a good time. And it's not very stressful. It's nice. So I went out and had fun today.
That's good. That's good. It's all about having fun sometimes. Did you watch any coverage this weekend?
I did. I watched mostly just highlights. I didn't watch the whole thing. But I did see that our boy Isaac Robinson tore it up.
I love Isaac. If you guys didn't know, Josh and I used to be sponsored by a small shop in Savannah called Terrain Flight. They're not really around anymore, but Ezra Robinson, his brother, was also sponsored by them. So we know Ezra pretty well. And so seeing Isaac absolutely demolish is just so awesome. I mean, there were talks about him doing really well, like once he finished school, that he was just going to come out and crush it once he was able to focus solely on disc golf and not school anymore.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes around like his availability to go on tour and play with some of these players that he gets to hang out with. He's commonly hanging out with Gannon, and he gets to play with that young group of guys who's been tearing it up recently, and being able to get that experience in his practice rounds and kind of learn how to play the game just at a whole new level. It provides its opportunities for him. And as well, playing at Champions Cup, he is being a Georgia native. He is right at home there.
He's probably played that course a ton.
Yeah, I think he's only a couple hours from there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're only a couple hours from Jacksonville, and we quite literally go all the time.
Yeah, we're there like almost every weekend. So,
I mean, if anybody did not watch the FPO coverage, it's okay. Let me give you a rundown. Kristen Tatar demolished. She did amazing. Like, she averaged over 1,000, and that was her round that she took her one bogey all weekend.
That's insane.
18 times 4. What's that one? That's like 70. No,
I don't know. I'm an off-duty math teacher right now, so I don't know. 18 times 4 is too much.
40 plus 32, 72.
72 sounds good.
So one bogey out of 72.
One bogey out of 72 holes is pretty impressive. Me and Evan actually went out and we did a trip, and we went up to play the Champions Cup course, WR Jackson. And let me tell you, that is not an easy course. I had a bad day on top of it, so I already wasn't playing well, but I think I shot like 7 over. And I am around 960 golfer. So for a 960 golfer to shoot 7 over and then watch these guys and girls both just go out and annihilate that course just really made me feel bad about myself.
Let's see. 6. Let's see. What'd you say? 7 over? Let's see how bad that was. Let's just go ahead and just rub that in.
Yeah.
Let's see. 4 over was 965. So that was rough.
Yeah, it was a bad day. Me and Evan both had a bad day though. So thank you, Evan, for suffering in silence with me. But we had fun.
I mean, FPO was great. I mean, Kristen won by a freaking 15 strokes, which is absolutely insane. I mean, she's going out there and just having the best time. Like, she just goes out there, she does what she wants, she stays focused, and it's just incredible. Like, did you see the photo she posted on her Instagram or Facebook?
I saw multiple pictures that she posted.
It was like a portrait style photo, and she's throwing. You can see the fairway takes up most of it, and then the crowd is behind her as she's mid throw.
I think I did see that.
That picture is just so pretty, and also just shows like, I guess it kind of gives that feeling of what it's like. Almost you can almost feel it when you look at that photo.
I will say KT is definitely bringing a new level of excitement to the FPO field. I've heard a lot more talk at leagues that I go to, which are predominantly male oriented leagues, there's not many females that play in our leagues here locally. And there's a lot of talk about KT coming from the guys, which is, it's good to see that, the men are watching the female side of the sport, that it's growing the way that we hoped it would. And to see KT just come out and absolutely annihilate it, like, it just brings more attention to the field. And although these ladies are really grinding out there, and just like it, man, it does suck to lose by 15 strokes. Like, you gotta still be excited for KT and what she's doing. Like, she is just doing some really amazing things out there.
You know what's really awesome? Freaking Owen Scoggins just destroying the course. And Owen is a Masters level player. I don't know her exact age, but she is eligible to play Masters. And she just goes out and crushes it. She doesn't throw far at all, like maybe 280, maybe 300 on a flex forehand. Like, she goes out there and she's throwing, let's see, her average the weekend, 983, second place finish. And she was in second place by 2 strokes. Like, I keep saying like, but it's awesome to see a player like that come out and kill it with no distance, but also great putting. I don't mean to say no distance. She just knows how to throw the disc.
I'll tell you what I thought was kind of interesting about this course is when you go and look at the course, and when you go and play, seeing the fairways feel big, but they don't, like, most of the fairways feel big. There are a couple out there that you're like, how am I supposed to hit this line? But like, for the most part, some of those fairways feel big. Now, it might be me being a Florida disc golfer thinking I could drive a semi truck through this comparatively to some of the stuff we throw through, but some of the fairways feel pretty big. And you would think at a course that has some of those holes that have the fairways that size that you wouldn't see a whole lot of score separation. But for something like a 15 stroke, 14 stroke difference in a tournament at the end of it, that's a massive gap. Like, that just shows you how on her game she was. But to the same effect, Isaac Robinson won his side by 5 strokes. And
that's really big for the MPO.
That's huge for the MPO. That's huge. Most of the MPO tournaments recently have been, 1, 2, 3 strokes at max. To win by 5 strokes, to average 10 down each round out there, really says how he just freaking tore it up. I mean, he did some pretty crazy things out there.
It was great to see. I really like that we're seeing new people win on both sides. At one point, we had a new FPO winner for every event, and Kristen was like, I'm going to do it again. Yeah. But I really like it. And then also Eagle, like, coming out of nowhere, which is super awesome to see that Eagle is kind of putting in the work. Injuries are tough. We know that as ex-collegiate athletes and retired collegiate athletes. Injuries are tough. And 4 rounds, 4 days, that's a lot on your body.
Yeah.
I feel like this new age of disc golf, we have a lot more athletes, like retired athletes, or like we have a lot of athletes who were once playing collegiate sports and now play disc golf, who are looking at 4 rounds, and that's a lot. Honestly, like, that's a lot of mental fortitude, and that's a lot of physical fortitude just to be able to push through that.
Yeah, it can be very tough on your body. And, coming off an injury like that, especially, like, it shows that he's, doing his physical therapy the way he should. He's taking care of his body the right ways to be able to get back to the top of his game. And, he has struggled a little bit this year. He hasn't really been, finishing top 3. I think he has 1 win at Goat Hill, which is just an A tier. It's not even a DGPT event or a major. Obviously, it's our first major this year. So for him to come out and take second, tie for second in a major after kind of having a little bit of a slow start, it's really good to see Eagle kind of bouncing back. And the other thing that really excites me about this event is, if you look at the names at the top of the leaderboard,
a lot of new ones,
a lot of new names, a lot of fresh names. The big boys kind of took a nap at this major. Gannonbur's down there tied for 7th. I think Paul was in the 20s.
You know who really surprised me? Chris Clements. Isn't Chris a lefty?
Chris is a lefty.
Like, not to say that lefties can't succeed at Champions Club, but like Sarah Hokum did really well, who's a forehand dominant. So I guess you could throw her in the lefty category like a little bit. But For a lefty, this is a very hyzer friendly, right-handed friendly course.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's right hand, backhand quite a few times. So, I mean, there's a couple holes. I can't remember what number it is, but there's a hole that kind of like it plays a backhand, a right hand, backhand, and hyzer flex with like I know Brody was throwing like a zone. Brody and Ezra were throwing like zones, but it's like an overstable putter or mid. And for him to try and like shot shape that, he's got to throw, if he's throwing a backhand, he's got to throw something that flips up just at the right time and continues to glide and flip to not pull down into that OB, or he's got to throw a flex forehand. And now Chris Clemens is a strong forehand player. He does throw a lot of forehands, and that might be where he was able to kind of shine since he likes to throw so many forehands. But I don't know about you. When I throw a lot of forehands, especially 4 rounds in a weekend, even 3 rounds in a weekend, my body's hurting afterwards.
I feel it. South Florida Open, that second round at Markham was very forehand friendly, and I played really well. Like I was able to throw well, and I every night got into the hot tub, put the jacuzzi on, and just let the muscles relax. I could not imagine 4 rounds. Thinking about AM Worlds, because you're definitely going. I'm trying to go, attempting. My boss hears this. Please help. It's just gonna lot. And I liked the course. It was a lot of walking though. They kept showing like drone footage, and it was a lot of walking. It was a lot of time on your feet. So it's really awesome to see these athletes come out and show up.
I'm gonna be honest. It's not. I really enjoyed the layout of WR Jackson as far as like the walking goes. They're like the holes are long. There are some pretty lengthy holes out there, but there's not a whole lot of walking in between tees and pads, or sorry, not tees and pads, pins and tee pads. So when you finish a hole, you're not like, it's not like, you got to go take a trek to go to the next one, which is kind of nice because sometimes you get those long courses and to fit in holes into the right spots, you got kind of a lengthy walk. WR Jackson is laid out very well. It's very clean.
It's probably why it's a major course, because it's a good course.
It's a very nice course. It's fun. And I like I said, we talked about Sarah Hokum tearing it up and Chris Clemens. It does provide some opportunities for both sides. Now, the left side, the forehand or lefty backhand side is a little tougher usually, but it does give the options.
I'm excited for next weekend. It's Jonesboro, so we're going to Arkansas, right? Arkansas. So I'm excited for that because that was where we really were introduced to Cat Merch last year.
Is it?
Yeah, Cat Merch is from Arkansas, and that was like her show-off tournament, showcase tournament. Breakout. That's the word. That was really her breakout tournament where everyone really started noticing her. So I'm excited to see what she'll do. And it's also her, I think, not home course, but home state. So I'd love to see it, kind of like an Isaac Robinson in Georgia kind of situation. So super, super excited.
Yeah, could be fun.
All right. And now let's move to our fan favorite segment, Hoffy's Heaters, brought to you by Spikeheiser Dyes. This is where our social media manager, Matt Hoffman, gives us hot takes on things nobody else is talking about. Probably for a good reason.
This week on Hoffy's Heaters, I have something pretty intense that I want to say, and it's that I don't have a heater this week because I think right now there's not really a whole lot to discuss. I haven't played in like 3 or 4 weeks. So we're going to see what really gets under my skin the next time I'm out on the course. So enjoy your week. And Hoffy's Heater this week, no heat.
He hasn't played in 3 to 4 weeks. Could you imagine?
I can't go like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, so. Usually like 3 to 4 days is like long tournament. We're exhausted. We're like, you took off school, so you're trying to get like, I can't imagine. I mean, I kind of understand, but like a little bit of a letdown. So let's come up with our own heaters. What's something that you're heated about? I'll go first. Okay. One thing that really, not really grinds my gears, but it kind of it makes me annoyed when people assume that we got where we are overnight. And it might sound a little cocky, but here's what I mean by it. Yesterday at Ladies League, we have an 11-year-old who comes out. Her name's Maddie. Super awesome. She's going to be an all-star one day. She's awesome. Great kid. And I was trying to talk to her about throwing because she doesn't fan grip anything. And I was telling her like fan grip's good, blah, 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 going off of everything with her. And she was like, oh, well, you throw far. And I was like, I haven't always thrown far. I didn't pick up a disc and throw 340 on a hyzer right off the bat. So it just, I had to dig to find an old video from when we first started throwing, but I wish new players realized that we put in the same amount of work, that we didn't just get here quickly. So that kind of grinds my gears. Gets me a little heated. It's just, I really wish people understood that people at the top or people who do really well work really hard. And like, we want you to do that. So like, if we're giving you some tips, like if you keep doing them over time, you will see results. It's not always going to be instant. I say like, sometimes you do help people, Josh, like, and it's instant, but sometimes you have to do it over and over again.
I don't know what you're talking about. I threw 400 feet in the first 2 weeks that I played. No, I'm just kidding. I do get what you mean. Like, it does take a lot of work. So, if you guys are out there and you guys are, everybody in their local league has one guy who just slays it always.
Destroys.
Like that guy grinds like crazy, most likely. And it just takes time. So like, if you guys aren't there, if you guys are one of the guys that struggles in league, if you guys are mediocre,
got him.
If you guys are mediocre, then it takes time, guys. Have some faith in your process. Just keep grinding, and you'll get there.
Enjoy the game. Still enjoy the game.
Every day I go out, I still learn something.
Well,
every single day.
Another thing about Maddie yesterday, because it was just me, her, and her mom. Great time. We had a wonderful time. But she was getting so much. She's like, I bogeyed again. I was like, you're working on stuff. Like, who cares? I was working on my straddle putts because I feel like it's part of my game that I do need to work on because it is important for me. And I definitely missed a bunch of putts that I would never miss, but I knew I needed to work on something. And I went in with that attitude, wasn't mad at all. I kept trying to tell her that. I was like, it's okay. Like, we're taking score to be accountable, but no one's going to judge you. And in a year from now, pull up the scorecard and be like, what did you do this day? No one's going to do that. You're working on something. So.
And, honestly too, like one of my favorite things about playing with players like that, who are still early in the stages of learning the game, is I really enjoy that. Like, even playing with those guys, sometimes I learn something from them.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they teach me something, even though it doesn't seem like you would find information from people like that. I tend to pick up little things from people who are much lower rated than I am. Even Hoffy. Hoffy is our resident mediocre guy of our group. Hoffy teaches me sometimes, as far as like, when I watch him throw his forehand, if he does something, I go, I need to make sure that, I do that or don't do that, depending on what it is. So,
well, I mean, if anybody wants to check it out, check out the Central Florida Women's Disc Golf Club Instagram. I posted, because Lo and I run the page, I posted a video of Maddie throwing on 18. She threw a great drive. You can hear the snap out of her wrist. And she told me, I focus on my snap a lot.
Yeah.
And that's incredible for an 11-year-old to go, yeah, that's what I focus on. And she throws, I think that video, she threw it around like 240, maybe 250, but I've seen her throw 280.
Jeez.
What are you heated about? Give me your heater.
Oh man, this is there's going to be some people out there that are going to be like, oh, shut up. But I'm going to be honest with you. The thing I'm most heated about is when leagues put caps on their ace pots. I hate it.
Why?
I think if you're going to be putting in money every week to win an ace and just nobody's hitting aces, I think the pot should just build. And then when somebody finally does hit an ace, if the course is difficult enough to dictate that somebody finally hit an ace after all that time and nobody else did, I think they should be rewarded for it. I know up in Jacks, I know their ace pot, they do have caps on their ace pots, I believe. But I've heard of people hitting $600 and $700 aces out there. But, locally we have a little bit smaller leagues and we have like $100 caps on our aces.
Wait, so when they cap it, do they still accept the ace pot money?
Yes.
Where do they put that money towards?
It depends on the league. I know South Daytona League, the one I was at today, I know they have kind of a backup pot.
So cool.
That's cool, right? You can have like, I think we cap it at 200 at that league. So they have the 200 pot, and then you have the backup pot that can fill up to 200 as well. I don't know how far it goes. I don't know if it's more than two.
Like there's like 5 layers.
I don't know how many layers there is, because it's a pretty easy course. So obviously, like, people hit aces pretty frequently, but I know the ace pot is capped right now at 200, and they're building the second pot right now. So
I mean, I kind of get it, because let's say the ace pot gets like $1,200. Some dude is gonna be carrying $1,200 on him, just waiting for anybody. Sounds like a atrocious idea.
Cash in, baby. Cash in. I'm about it. Like, let me hit a $1,200 ace. That'd be sick.
Gosh. I mean, yeah, it'd be sick. But did you hit an ace today?
I didn't. I got out there. I got through like 7 holes, and I was like, why am I parking these holes? I told myself I was going to run aces. Like, why am I under the basket? It's all for you. I'm trying to get monies to take you to Mimi's. I gotta keep up with your Mimi fund. So
I will love ice cream. Well, kind of like bouncing off of what my heat is, which is a beginner, and knowing that we all start somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere. Growing the sport. So personally, for me, I like to grow the sport with the ladies, whether it's young, old, in the middle, down low, up high, doesn't matter. For you, growing the sport really means the kids. I mean, you teach currently, and last year when you were at a different school, you started a disc golf club. So like, expand. Tell me about growing the sport with high schoolers. I know everybody around is like, high school, like, no. But I remember going out with those kids, and it was a great time. Like, could you tell me a little about it?
Well, to be honest with you, starting the club at the school was honestly an idea that came from my students. I'm the kind of guy that, like, my whole life is disc golf. Like,
no.
the old joke of social media where it's like, oh, this isn't just a hobby, right? Like,
it's a lifestyle.
Like, I talk about disc golf a lot. I literally have frisbees in my room. Last year I had a basket in my room. And kids would come in at lunchtime and literally just putt in my classroom just because they thought it was cool. They had no idea what they were doing. And they did break a picture frame at one point in time, but but we had a good time, and they just enjoyed like playing with the basket and hearing my stories and watching videos of me throw. And this was kind of around the same time that I did the NADGT last year, and so I was on coverage for that, and they got to see me actually throw in a tournament setting. And they were like, you should start a club here. And I was like, well, if we're going to start a club here, it can't be just the 2 of you or the 3 of you. Like, we need a few more people.
Mr. Hatch is hanging out with a 17-year-old.
Yeah. So I was like, if you're going to do it, like, we need to like market it, and we need to try to get more people. So you guys need to talk to people and try to get them to come out. And so we did it. We marketed it for a couple of weeks, and we put out flyers and posters, and they talked to their friends, and my other students got interested in it as well, like from my class. And
when every kid showed up, how many did you have? If every kid showed up,
I think I had 15.
That's good.
Yeah. On average, so early on average, I was averaging about 10 to 11, and then as life happened and kids had sports to go to and all this other stuff, it kind of dwindled down to 8. And then at the end of the year, again, part of the whole plan was that at the end of the year, we would have like kind of an end of the year get together round, and we put together award bags and stuff like that, and we actually gave out 2 small prodigy bags to some kids.
Yeah, we got them as players packs.
Yeah, we got them in our players packs, and I filled them up. Each bag had 5 discs, a towel, a mini, and a water bottle. And the top 2 players based on handicap, which we had developed a system for handicaps and everything. The top 2 players based on handicap each took home a bag. Which was pretty cool. And so when that event came out and it was the end of the year and all the sports were done, and we had about 11 or 12 kids come out. So it was a good time.
Well, what did you do? Like disc golf club, great, but like, what did you do? Like, when you had all these kids show up and you're like, yeah, disc golf, like, where did you start?
I started with just putting them in an open field and letting them learn how to make something fly. Because honestly, like I feel like for beginners, like that's the coolest part is like getting the disc to fly, right?
Yeah,
That
checks out.
And it's kind of tough because, like, obviously, I have a lot of experience with teaching kids athletics, and I have a good understanding of how discs fly. So, like, I had to go and learn what they could do, like what their ability to throw was, and then try to find the right disc and put it in their hands. So we just started in an open field, and I put a basket out there and I made them all throw at the basket, and we just kind of I goofed around in a field, I guess, for lack of a better term. And they once they got to where they could kind of throw it in the right direction.
Did anyone get hit?
I think we had a couple of kids get hit, but it was one of those situations where like we followed all the correct like safety measures, but like
you can't stop teenagers.
And you can't stop a kid throwing 90 degrees off angle. You know, you can't predict that. So
it's like that Richard video.
Yeah, the WTF Richard, right? What the quack Richard. Yeah, it was good. I'll tell you what, the thing that impressed me the most about starting this up, you know, aside from the kids and everything, was how much community support I had. Because when I first made the club and everything, and the kids decided to come out, obviously I needed frisbees. Yeah. I needed discs to give the kids. And so I went around to my local leagues and I said, hey guys, you know, I'm trying to start a club at Mainland. Like, we have a bunch of kids that want to come out and play, but we have no discs. I was like, if you guys can donate anything, please do. And there were about 200 discs donated.
Yeah,
of people amazing. Just donating plastic. I know one of our buddies, his name is John Wazinski. He's our local diver. He had a lot of discs that had no name on it, that he couldn't call, that were all like old, you know, DX leopards. And he donated probably 50 discs that he had got out of the lake.
Yeah, and some of the ones he gets out of the lake are like the Chinese ones. So like you pick it up and you're expecting like a little give, like a DX give, and it's like, no, you could hurt somebody if you whack this.
They're basically bucket lids.
They're like so bad. I can throw a bucket lid pretty far. Okay, back to the point.
But yeah, we started out doing that, and then eventually we went. There's a college right next to the high school that I was teaching at.
Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Yeah, that's the one. So we went out there. They have a little 9-hole course it's super beginner friendly, and the kids just started throwing, and early scores were
rough.
they were rough.
Because Riddle has some really easy holes, but Riddle also has some holes where you're like,
yeah, there. I mean, the what is it? Hole 5, I think, is like it's like a 400-foot downhill shot, and there's a soccer field on the left,
and the track is on the right. Yeah,
and there's fences, so like if you throw it over the fence. But you know, we taught kids how to climb fences while we're doing this. So.
I easily told like 2 of them to go get the disc for me.
Yeah,
I was like, go hop the fence.
I mean, it can happen even for a good player. You can throw it over the fence, not a problem. But we went out and we played. They got better and better and better. And we didn't have anybody hit an ace out there, but we had a couple kids draw medal a couple times on some of the little downhill dinkers, and they loved it. They had a great time. So for me, growing the sports, it's honestly, it's about just giving them opportunities. Like, put the right disc in their hand, hopefully. Quit giving them this overstable crap. All right. I don't know who's out there telling noobs that they need to throw Firebirds, but you don't need to give a noob a Firebird.
What's that kid's name? Aiden,
yeah.
Aiden always had a disc, and we're like, Aiden, God. You can't throw that. Stop it. What did he grab? He had a cap wrap.
He bought a cap wrap.
He got a cap wrap. And we're like, Aiden, you can't throw it. Aiden, you can't throw it. And he would try so hard to prove to us that he could throw cap wrap.
I mean, he was basically throwing it vertical at one point in time to try and get it to fly. In
Aiden's defense, he was a baseball player. He knew how to move his body.
Yeah.
He knew mechanic. Like, he had power.
Yeah.
Some of the boys had power. Some of the boys, I was like.
Well, then you had Damien out there who could throw 400 feet, but he couldn't tell you where. 400 feet it was flying.
180 degrees. It's going 400 somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aiden was great. Aiden cracked me up.
Yeah,
my also favorite was watching the kids grow out of discs.
Too.
What's his name?
Jerry?
Nope, not Jerry.
His name. The first thing that came to mind for me was Nessa.
Nope. Dayron? No.
Day? Dayron. Yeah.
Dayron. He threw a DX Beast, and then you had to move him up to like a G Star Beast, and then
Yep.
you had to move him up to a Star Beast.
Yep.
Like he
Yep.
just kept getting moved up because he was turning them to rollers.
Well, I think the greatest part about that was we put a DX Beast in his hand and he threw it right the first time. And then for some reason, he just would not get off the Beast. He was like, I love the Beast. I love the Beast. I love the Beast. And I'm like, we'll find you a Beast in a different plastic then, because this one's not working anymore.
You
But
can't throw, buddy. I'm honestly, I know you're at a better school now and in a better place mentally, but I definitely miss the kids. And I think they miss you.
Yeah. Well, for the longest time, I had those kids on my computer screen background, even while I was teaching
the
in high
club
school.
photo. The club
I had the club photo on there, but you made me replace it with a picture of me and you dancing at our wedding. So
how dare I? How dare I? So growing the sport with kids is just important just to let them go out. I feel like I remember throwing in the field with you during the early stages of club, and you just had the kids throw. You're like, just throw. And I was like, I remember I was trying to help and you told me to stop.
Yeah.
You're like, no, just let them throw. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think that's really important with youth and young kids, is just let them throw. They're going to figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, they're going to figure out a way to do it. And it's not the way you think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been out to the local leagues, and there'll be like families walking around and their kids will be out there playing, and the kids will just watch the discs fly and they're just having a great time watching it. And they pick one up off the ground, even though they're not supposed to.
And they fling it back to you like, here you go. You're like, dang.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love those moments. I love when the kids get excited about the disc, and I don't know how many times I've just pulled the disc out of my bag and given it to a kid. I throw soft envies, and that's the only level of stability that I could give a small child.
And still be like,
yeah, I have some understable discs in my bag, but the discs that I throw as unstable are just stable for most people. Yeah. So yeah, but give a kid a disc. It's a piece of plastic, it's what, $15 maybe.
Maybe $10 if it's DX.
Just give somebody a disc and make their day. I gave a kid a disc the other day and he lit up like a freaking Christmas tree.
I remember always comparing to Ladies League because Maddie's really the only youth I get to play with often. But Maddie was throwing some things and I was like, you could throw a putter. Like, you are strong enough. You can throw a putter on this hole. And I gave her my Crystal Fierce. Not gave it to her, but I said, hey, throw this. And she was just like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, that's your disc. And I was like, yeah, Maddie, go ahead. It's fine. You're not going to shank it. There's no water. You're fine. And if you do shank it, we'll go grab it. It's okay. And she threw it. She threw it really well, like flat, straight, beautiful, slow turn. And I just remember her smile. She was just like really excited that she got to use like one of Kim's disc because Kim throws really far. Maybe she'll throw really far. So I remember that. That gets me. But yesterday I was messing with Maddie. She has got this super, super lightweight Wraith in her bag. And I told her to stop throwing it because it was just turning into a roller. And I said, throw this one. And I finally was like, okay, throw whatever you want, Maddie. She grabbed the Wraith and I said, whatever. If you don't park this hole, you owe me 5 push-ups. And she goes, okay. She threw that thing on so much hyzer. I was like, oh, Lord. And it popped up the flat because of so much hyzer. Of course, it didn't turn into a roller. And she put it inside the circle. She just turned around, looked at me, and I got on the ground and I did 5 push-ups. I was like, oh, great. You got me. But if she were to throw it how she was throwing every other disc, it would have been a roller. But somehow her brain remembered to put more hyzer on it to get it to go. I was in shock, and honestly, she earned the 5 push-ups for me.
I love it. Like you can tell that by doing that, you made her think about like what she has to do to make that disc fly. She wanted to prove you wrong, and she did everything that she could to make it happen.
She cracks me up so much.
So here's the better question: Did you pull a Fierce off the shelf? Because we have 1.5 million Fierces out here.
I could give her a Fierce. I could. I've got that pop toppy one I don't really like because I like it when they're going flat.
The green one?
Yeah, the green one.
You should give her a Fierce. I bet she'd freaking lose her mind. Make her day. It's a piece of plastic.
You're right. It's sitting on. I don't want to throw it. It's too dumb. I like it flat. I love disc golf. Disc golf is great.
Yeah.
except we run through shoes so quickly. That's a takeaway.
Well,
Speaking of takeaways, here's a giveaway. If you check out our Instagram, Brandon from Spikeheiser Dies has this gorgeous Penrose. It is so pretty. It's amazing. And if you want to check out just his Instagram period, Brandon is creating amazing dies for everyone to enjoy. It's at Spikeheiser Dies. So at @dies_DG. He also, what he has to offer, you can check out his Etsy shop, and he'll do custom work if you like anything. So his stuff is so nice, especially the spin dies.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of a spin die.
And on his Instagram, he's got a video of him making the giveaway disc, which is on the record player. And
it's very pretty, I will say. I'm not sponsored by Brandon, so you guys can take my word on this. Brandon does some really good work. I really like what Brandon does. I think his dies are very unique. He's got some styles that I don't really see from a lot of people. Like I've seen quite a few people do have you seen the die where it has the black rim around the outside? Like they do like a standard color die on top, and then they'll do like a black rim around the outside. Yeah. I picked up a metallic Z zone from him that he had dyed the entire flat top black and then dyed the rim different colors.
Gorgeous.
And like, sure, it might get lost pretty easily, but I'll take that chance. It's
sparkly. It'll help. It's sparkly.
Yeah, it's metallic.
Honestly, I lose my purple disc and my old tie-dye Undertaker more than I lose any dark disc.
Well, you for some reason you love to throw that purple fierce.
It flies so pretty.
You love to throw it when it's dark as hell outside.
It's a metallic Z plastic, so it's like sparkly. Yeah, I always lose it. I know. That's why I wanted to pick up that new one at the store, but it was too late. It's fine. I'm fine. Yeah. But back to the giveaway. If you check out the giveaway, it's on our page, it's on Brandon's page. It's a gorgeous spin die premium disc Penrose. So check it out. It's been a day.
It's been a day.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really glad you were able to come out and just chit chat. You and I have the best conversations, I feel like. And
well, we are married, so
we are married, and we spend all of our time together.
Yeah.
I tell you all the time, you are very lucky to have me, because when the other guys have to go home to their wives, your wife is sitting next to you and probably wants to go throw some more.
It is nice.
You're living the dream.
I'm loving life.
All right, guys, that's it for today. You can find us on Instagram, myself at Kim the Great, Josh at Professor_Disc Golf, and of course, our Evan at Evan Amsted's DG. Remember to follow the pod on Instagram at Mediocre Disc Golf Pod and on Twitter at Mediocre DG Pod. If you want to support us, buy our shirts on mythicdiscgolf.com and listen to us every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed the show, leave us 5 stars and a review. And if you didn't, still give us 5 stars.